Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm joined by Mr. One Leeds himself, Conor McGilligan. How are you doing, Connor?
Yeah, all good, mate. In the circumstances, I'm just trying to
As well as
deviate
can
away
be.
from anything Leeds United, to be honest, and that's
Mm,
making me happy. So yeah, but you've forced me on your channel, so here we are talking about
I
Leeds
have,
again.
I have.
How are you, mate? All good?
I'm good, mate. As I say, as well as can be, as we all are. But today I've brought you on to talk about the behind the scenes stuff, if you will. I don't want to talk so much about football because we know what the issues have been over the past 2, even 3 years. You know, the silly defensive mistakes, the not being clinical enough. We know all that. We don't need to go over that. I want to focus more on the operation that's been going on behind the scenes, the business side of things, because when you look at it back to back, it's so much worse than you could imagine.
Sounds like another uplifting morning, mate. Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
very
Sounds good.
uplifting. It's currently what going on 11
Yeah.
a.m. Before we kick off, if you could just like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. A lot of you aren't. Don't know why. It's free. It takes a couple of seconds and it helps me out massively. So please do that. And of course, as always, get your thoughts in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get into this.
Push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road, all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home.
Right now, this is the lowest I've felt about Leeds United in 18 months. And 18 months is very specific for two reasons. 18 months is how long it's been since you were last on this channel, just me and you. And that's when Marcelo Bielsa got sacked. And since then, it surfaced that the club had not been paying freelancer fees for months. We ended up having to pay a total of £40 million for Jean-Kevin Augustin, who played 48 minutes for us. That's about £835,000 per minute. Radrizzani said, I don't have any doubt that we'll avoid a situation similar to last season. It's impossible. We got relegated. They went into last season persisting with an injury-prone Patrick Bamford rather than buying a striker, persisting with Pascal Struijk rather than buying a left-back. They 99.9% signed Cody Gakpo. They sold our two best players in Phillips and Rafinha for 95 million. They spent that 95 million to buy Aronson, Christensen, Roca, Adams, Sinistera, and Verba, all with relegation clauses in their contracts. We got relegated. In August, they rejected Newcastle's £40 million bid for Jack Harrison. In January, they pulled the plug on his £20 million transfer to Leicester. In April, they gave him a new 5-year contract, which included a relegation clause. A month later, we were relegated, and he's now on loan at Everton. They gave Llorente a new 3-year contract in December. In January, they sent him out on loan to Roma with the option to buy for £15 million. In July, he re-signed for Roma on a season-long loan with an obligation to buy for just £4 million if he plays 50% of their games. They let half the ground empty after our 2-2 draw with West Ham before announcing that it was Click's last game, meaning he didn't get a proper send-off. They thought Weston McKennie was a £30 million footballer. They thought Jorginho Ruta was worth making our record signing with a £35 million investment. They went through 4 managers in a single season. Andrea wanted to sack Marsh in October and replace him with Unai Emery. Orta was adamant on backing Marsh, and Emery went to Villa. Marsh was sacked in February after a torrid run of form. They couldn't get Areola or Slot. Bizarrely, they stuck with Scabala. Orta was then adamant on Gracia. When that failed, Radrizzani sacked them both and rang the Big Sam helpline for one final roll of the dice, and we're now in the Championship. It's rumoured that there was a bust-up in the changing room at half-time of our 5-1 loss to Crystal Palace at home. Not a single player acknowledged the fans greeting them before our 4-1 loss at Bournemouth. They were promoting the shirts on sale less than an hour after relegation. Radrizzani tried to pawn Ellen Road for his purchase of Sampdoria. And this brings us to where we are now. The 49ers are in charge and have promised an aggressive transfer window where Parag Marathe negotiates contracts in his sleep. As you said the other day, Connor, remember that one. We're on our 4th manager in 6 months, Daniel Farke. We've signed Ampadu, Darlow, Byram, and Roden. Non-owned Sinistera are refusing to play Firpo, Cooper, Dallas, Somerville, and Bamford are out injured. Adams, who's also injured, is on the verge of joining Bournemouth. And we have a combined £95 million worth of signings in Cork, Llorente, Harrison, Aronson, Christensen, Rocket, and Verba, all out on loan. And that's that. Quite the mouthful there. What an absolute calamity, Connor.
Yeah, is there a bridge nearby? It's there's some things there where you're reading off them in the Llorente deal. The Harrison thing is just like you're saying. I forgot about the Newcastle interest as well. I was thinking like primarily of Leicester really when we turned that down, offered him a new contract, and then till 2028, and then you're looking at the contract and it's like there were so many stipulations in that contract, as we now know. The Unai Emery thing, which it's just a shit show, isn't it? It's an absolute shit show. Like, yeah, mate, I'm just, it's got to a point now where, I mean, I put it out. I don't know what you think about this, and listen, obviously we're not going to talk about the football side of things, but I've sort of mediated my expectations now. Like this season, I think, mate, is just going to be completely transitional because of, I mean, Lewis, it's the mentality of the players as well from last season, everything that happened last season, everything that's happened post Bielsa has just been a sham. Yeah, mate, it's really hard to put a cap on it because it just seems to be getting worse and worse every single day, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, well, there's so much there and so much to unpack that I've had to essentially break it all down into 4 sections. And I'm going to kick it off with a section I'm calling Not a Good Look.
Can you explain what you're doing in this photo?
That's not me.
That's not you?
Nope.
Okay.
I think somebody came out on Twitter and basically said that they'd sent an invoice over 120 days ago and it had not been paid. And then a load of people replied to that saying, nor have I, nor have I, nor have I. It was like a Me Too movement, but for not being paid. It's an insight to how things have been run behind the scenes in terms of just incompetence, laziness, lack of professionalism, which is why I've put that there, because it's not necessarily on the football side of things. I get that. But again, today we're focusing on an operation side of things. We're a Premier League club failing to pay freelancers for work that they've been commissioned to do. I think it's from someone who's done so much freelance work themselves, and you will have as well, disgraceful.
Yeah, I mean, these people are, I mean, they're not even on contracts, freelancers, a lot of the time. It's, it's a lot of it can be just verbal, good communication. And I know football clubs can take advantage of that at points, but I remember the outcry really. And yeah, I remember the thread you were discussing, and it was one after the other, after the other, after the other. And you're thinking a lot of these are kids, 18, 19 years of age, who haven't really got a voice. They've just got the Twitter accounts. And what is the team at Leeds United doing? It's I mean, it's harsh words, but it's almost like exploitation of the youngsters there. They're paying, they're giving their hours, their time, their service to Leeds United, probably a lot of them as fans, and a simple accreditation in a payment isn't given back. It's the start of it, mate. It really is. And in there, I wanted to put another thing in there as well. Radrizzani messaging fans, which is another thing
included. Yep.
But there's no way any other owner in the Premier League, probably in Europe, does anything like that, and that sort of
mid-game as well.
Mate, mid-game. Stunned, absolutely stunned.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you've quite rightly said, mate, the professionalism.
Speaking of Radrizzani, obviously there you're talking about him messaging fans, saying that it's impossible for us to get relegated. It's like, you're asking for it. You are quite literally asking for it. Why
would you say it? Why would you say that?
I know.
Why would you say that?
And
and yeah,
messing up Click's farewell. That to me is one of the worst things they've done. Letting half of the ground empty before, playing his farewell compilation on screen and giving him the guard of honor down the tunnel, and it became very evident that that was going to be his last game, but only to the few of us that were left in the ground. Most people found out on the way home via the radio or Twitter or things like that. For a player that had been here so many years and given us so much, and the players loved, and he got Leeds, and there was a very meaningful understanding between him and the fan base, to then not even make it a thing. Now, I understand with Pablo and Berardi, for example, it was in COVID. I understand with Bielsa that if you sack a manager, you're not going to get this big farewell thing, because once they're out of the job, you're focused on bringing the next one in. But Click, there was no excuse for that whatsoever, and they made a shambles of it.
Yeah, they did. And for someone with such incredible service, such a loyalty with the fans, we all know Lou, when it's on the pitch, I think he was winding down a little bit. But then your replacement is Weston McKennie, that's another topic. But it's one of those where when he went, I think it was almost like we saw Pablo, we saw Berardi, we saw Alioski. Click was almost the end of a bit of an era, and I think a lot of fans saw it as that as well, and they wanted to find a bit of positivity in a horrific season, which was last, and I think he deserved that. I wonder what I'd like, Penny, for his thoughts. Let's rally together. Let's all get there together, and even if it's just the players on the pitch who are a little bit down morale-wise, say bye to Clicky. Everyone's happy again. And, it might be a little bit of a boost, but once again, It's another thing they've got wrong. Mentality just seems to... It's not a thing for people at Leeds. It doesn't seem to factor in, really, which is, I think, it's negligent.
Promoting of the home shirt sale less than an hour after we got relegated. On Instagram, on the stories, on the actual Instagram post, on the photos, each in-match photo, and then post-match when you've got Cock, for example, with his hands on his head. Every single photo had the link on it to the club shop to buy the home shirt. And look, maybe I'm reading too much into this. Maybe it's just procedure. But the reason it's in a category called not a good look is because it ain't. We've just been relegated, and it just comes across like, yeah, we've gone down, but give us your money.
Yeah.
Like, buy the home shirt. It's on sale. Like, come on. And it's like, we've just been relegated. Come on. Come on.
Do you think they've got a problem with just when it comes to social media, just general? Because obviously me and you work in media, and I just like, I work for a company. You work for a company. I'm in charge of certain things, as you are, in terms of distribution. And I think it's a really basic thing in social media to read the room. I'm not going to put certain things out if certain things have happened. I'm not going to be I guess it's good to be reactionary at points, because that's, what gets clicks and all this sort of stuff and views. But I think when it comes to stuff like that, when it's such a monumental effort this season, and then you're advertising the kits an hour afterwards, and just to deviate away from that, Lou, even just when we're right now in dire need for a striker, and yesterday they're putting out montages of Lee Chapman scoring for Leeds, and I'm like, I don't know if they've just got this so wrong. Like, are they reading the room at the minute? The temperature is high, mate. Fucking hell. It's just, it's 100%, mate. I mean, I've completely forgotten about the kit thing, to be honest, but horrendous.
Coming back to Rajazani, using Ellen Road as a pawn. Now, in an interview that we've already mentioned, where he talks about he wanted to sack Marsh in October, etc. In the same interview, he essentially defends himself in terms of the using Ellen Road as a pawn to buy Sampdoria. And don't buy it. Do not buy it. He, from a business point of view, is well within his right to put that on the table. But as I said at the time, it's not just bricks and mortar. It's not just somewhere you own. It's a second home to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And we've already been through so much turmoil with Ellen Road.
Yeah, mate. And I mean, the other thing about that is the 49ers knew nothing about it. Do you remember? It was behind their backs, and it was in the midst of a takeover that we needed desperately. New owners were all excited for a new dawn, and he's doing this, and he's using it as leverage. I think it's probably the worst thing he'd done And it also showed to me that there was no connection. He was a businessman.
Do you think there was a bust-up at half-time of our 5-1 loss to Crystal Palace at home? Surely something happened at least. Nothing's confirmed. Let me just put that out there. Nothing is confirmed. It's purely rumours. Some people saying it did, some people saying it didn't. So it's up in the air. But your personal view on that?
I hope so, because I was nearly swinging in the cop. It was just one of those where, like, you could see it coming though, Lou. It had Derby written all over it. Derby written all over it. And like you said, you don't want, mentality, I think, can be attributed to business and football, obviously. So it crosses, it crosses wires a little bit. But if we're just specifically talking about the bust up, I think there was, and there should have been, but it's then you question once again the mentality, don't you, Lou? Because if I've got someone in the changing room and I've done something wrong and they're barking at me, and I'm thinking, shit, right, I've got to put this right. I've got to put this right. I've got to, in the second half, I've got to up my standards. This mentality, I've got this Premier League mentality. I've got to get back up to those levels again. I think there definitely was a bust up. I think there was definitely words that was said.
I agree, personally. Yeah.
But then how meek and mild were the characters that went out there in the second half and just obliterated. Just absolutely folded like a deck of cards. And but yeah, overall, mate, I think there was one. Yeah,
players not acknowledging a single fan, especially the young fan, in the hotel lobby before our 4-1 loss at Bournemouth.
Oh yeah, forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was the moment for a lot of people, and myself included. And I think I even tweeted, and I'll pull it up if I did, at that point, saying the most unlikable squad in years, send us down and get rid of them all. And, it's pretty much happened. If we're going to be honest, that is exactly what has happened. But yeah, just not a good look.
yeah, coming up with the theme there, you bang on, not a good look at all. Just from once again, Lou, we come back to it. Read the room. There's kids there who are trying to get their shirts there. Do they sign books anymore, Lou? Is that a my era thing where we used to sign, like, we used to have little autograph books?
Autograph books and the photo books. I still see the odd sort of, people around your age, like going on 50 and
people around my age.
Cheeky bastard.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think obviously you've got to go there, and you've got responsibilities as a footballer, especially to the fan base. And I just could not believe after that, and it went viral on the internet, didn't it? And it was an absolute concoction of shit. I got to the end of the season as well, Lou, and I just thought, they're not even putting the yards in anymore. It's just, they've just given up. And like you said, it's really interesting when you speak about them being an unlikable bunch. I am on the same level with you. We've had crap players before. I had season tickets in League One, and we had absolute shocking football players, but a lot of them gave everything because they knew this was the biggest it was ever going to get, being a Leeds United player. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a team, Lou, who, if we'd have beaten Crystal Palace, would have gone above them and gone 12th. A team who had it all in their hands. We had it all in their hands to get out. Again,
you've brought something else up you forget. Category number 2, I've aptly named bad business.
I can't do anything right. Get out of here!
£40 million for JKA. That probably, our worst business ever, maybe?
There's probably an argument. There's probably an argument value-wise that it's the worst Premier League transfer of all time, if that's what you're going to call it, a Premier League transfer, because it was like Championship Premier League, wasn't it? But so we had to pay the transfer. Then we were in a sort of legal battle, for 2 years, which the fees will have been astronomical because it had been a high level court case, and then we had to pay his wages. Is that right, for the amount of time he had left? Yeah. So I literally cannot imagine. We're talking 40 million, but it will have been way in excess of 40 million.
Are we talking about the beginning of last season or now? Because this is persisting with Bamford and no left back, and it's not changed. It's not changed. We're still in the same position now. We have no left back, if you want to count Byram, fine. We haven't gone, let's get Byram in and cover the left back situation. We haven't got a left back. Bamford, if he was fully fit now, would be starting as our leading number 9 for what? 6th year running. Patrick Bamford is our leading number 9, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly gentlemen.
Relax there, mate.
And look,
relax.
I love Patrick Bamford. Connor, I know you won't agree with that.
Yeah, you're a big
Joe,
fan of him.
who may be watching, I know you won't agree with that. Most of the people watching probably don't agree with that, but I love Patrick Bamford. Even I, and even he probably at this point is going, what am I doing here? And I'm going, what are you doing here? You're injury prone. You have been for going on 3 years, 6 years to be sticking with the same number 9. And I get we signed Jorginho Ruta, but that is purely based on potential. Purely based on potential. Again, from Victor Orta, which is the way he operated. I get that. Signing Rafinha was potential and it worked out. I get that. Most of his signings didn't. But spending £35 million on an unproven young striker to then go, oh, he's Bamford's replacement. Nah. Why have we not got a proven goal scorer in?
I thought the negligence started very early on. I mean, we got to the Premier League and we went for Rodrigo instead of Ollie Watkins, which was there. You know, it was between us and Villa to get him. Villa went hard on him, and I thought it had to be Ollie Watkins there. You know, you look at the January month where we were struggling last season. They went out and got Jorginho Ruta for 35 million. I know it sounds ridiculous, mate, but why not go out and get a Danny Ings? I know it sounds daft. Or your Koresh. Go and get your Koresh, put 20 million quid down on him, someone who's doing it now. And I know Danny Ings wasn't doing it at that time, but if you know, coming into Leeds United, get Danny scorers 5-6 goals to keep us in the division. It can be that simple in football, but it's always Hollywood. Isn't it, Lou? It's always Hollywood. Let's go out and get this 19-year-old who scored 8 goals in the Bundesliga for Hoffenheim as a winger, as a striker. We don't really know where he plays, but we'll get him in anyway. And then we won't play him. And it's lunacy. It's absolute lunacy. So
£40 million for Jack Harrison. We've covered that more or less. We don't really need to go back into that. But yeah, woeful. I've literally just written Weston McKennie.
Shite. He wasn't shy. I think he's one of those players who, for Leeds, he was not a fit at all in so many respects. But I do think at another club, it might work out for him. But him and Leeds United are just polar opposites in terms of fit in so many ways.
Obviously, we've covered Jorginho Ruta there.
Sorry, mate, I've just realised I've got red bed cover. That's going to get absolutely blasted in the comment section of your video. You're going to have to blur this out. The red.
That's not red. That's not red.
That's what we'll say on the video. Yeah, it's not red, everyone.
That is that bedding is a homage to our third kit, is what that is.
Exactly.
that is our third kit bedding. The relegation clauses. Yeah. Look, I get that it's for FFP reasons.
Yeah.
But it's wrong, in my opinion, because sending them all out on loan. No, a few to balance the books, maybe. But to include a relegation clause in every single contract, more or less, bad business, right?
This shows how arrogant they were, for me. Just arrogant they were. They didn't think, did they, Lou, that we'd get relegated? I'm convinced until 5 or 6 games left when Big Sam came in. Maybe the warning signs were on a little bit, but I'm convinced for 85-90% of that season, they had no inclination that we could feasibly get relegated.
Rodgers only said it. We only have one more slot for a loan overseas. You have 7 loans overseas, and then you have your domestic loans. So obviously Harrison's gone to Everton, so that's a domestic loan. That doesn't count, but for your Llorentes and your Cox and your Christiansens, they take up all these spots, and there's only one left. Now, there's talk of Sinistera going, Helder Costa wants out, etc. These players aren't linked with domestic moves. They're linked with moves abroad, and you've only got one slot left, so that's interesting.
Yeah, you'd expect, I mean, Costa's the obvious one, isn't he? Costa's the obvious one. I mean,
unless they just release him from his contract, which is also an option.
What contract? Do we know what contract is on? Because that could cost Leeds a bomb because they're probably giving him a 12-year contract.
Year left? No?
A year left, right? Okay. Maybe it wouldn't be as as problematic for Leeds to buy him out. Actually, it could be a good shout. But yeah, I think feasibly, mate, the realistic ones, I think it's going to be Sinistera. I also think we're still going to see movement on Somerville.
Quick one next. I've simply called split board.
I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
The fact that Radrizzani has since come out and said he wanted to sack Marsh in October, supposedly for Unai Emery, but Orta didn't let him, humours me. Like, who is in charge? Radrizzani or Orta? Who makes the call? If Radrizzani goes, I, as the owner of the club, want to sack this man, and Orta goes, nah, you're not doing that. He's my guy. I back Jesse Marsh to the hill. Ain't going nowhere. The question I'm going to ask you, Connor, is how much did Orta control when Bielsa was here? That's what that makes me think.
I think he ran it. I think he ran it. I think Rads is clearly a very good businessman, but I don't know how much football, not knowledge is probably the wrong word, but how much football sort of like maybe he needed to transition into the English game. But I think he struggled with it a lot. And I think Victor Orta made a couple of good decisions and Rads pretty much lived on that. He should have been sacked immediately after that Jean-Kevin Augustin saga. He should have been sacked on the spot for losing the company millions and millions of pounds. He wasn't. And yeah, it was the lunatics running the asylum. But for me, the split board thing, I think obviously Rads had the final say, but I think he was so intertwined with Victor Orta bringing Bielsa in, Victor Orta bringing Ben White and Eddie and all these names. He thought to himself, "Oh, we've got out the division with this guy. You know, I've got to keep him on side. I've got to trust in him." But honestly, mate, I think he had the sign off on things, but maybe towards the end it got even more fractured between them both. But I think it was Victor Orta. I think a lot of it was Victor. And there's maybe a blame for Radrizzani there. Well, there's a big blame for Radrizzani there because, and this isn't to let Orta off, but he was probably put in a more responsible position than he's ever been in before because for me, he was running it. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I just, going on the lines of what you just said, I think Rad's had way too much trust in him. Yeah. If he wasn't sacked after the JKA ordeal, he should have at the very least been sacked with Marsh. Because if Rads goes, I'm sacking this guy, and Orta goes, no, trust me, back him, and then it doesn't work out, at that point, as the owner of the club, as the boss, you turn around and go, look, I gave you a chance, I trusted you, I backed him like you said, and it hasn't worked out. Off he pops and off you pop. Fourth and final category I've called the rebuild.
The damage is not too bad. As long as the foundations are still strong, we can rebuild this place. Now those foundations are gone.
Ampadu, Darlow and Byram in for a total of 12.5 million and Rodon on loan. Good business?
Yeah. It's obviously Farkas connections, isn't it? Yeah, not bad business. Not bad. Darlow, I wouldn't mind if someone a bit stronger there, but I don't mind it. I just thought of someone facilitating Farkas' system a little bit, passing out from the back. I don't think he's ever really done that, but I think there's a focus on melee, mate. Don't know if you agree, but Ampadu, I think I love him. This might go down hot on your channel. I've no idea. I don't know what your subscribers would react to this, but I think he's on another level in my opinion to Adams. I think he's got way more to his game than Tyler Adams. I think Adams facilitates one specific role. I think Ampadu can do a lot as a midfielder.
Nonto refusing to play, trying to force a move to Everton. Sinistera refusing to play, not for reasons that are as bad, but on the face of it, still refusing to play because he had a slight knock to his knee, doesn't want to worsen it in case a club, Feyenoord, come in for him at the back end of the window.
With regards to Nonto in particular, would you start him at the weekend? Or would you almost turn around and say, look, you're not even in the squad, mate? Because I think there's benefits for both, really. You start him and you put him out there and you say, look, this could be bad, but you're going to take a lot of it. And that's kind of your punishment. or you keep him out the squad and you're just saying, look, there's no way back for you here, mate, because we were having a bit of a chat about it, and there's two ends of the spectrum where one person was thinking he should play and he's going to get flack, but if he scores, it's going to be forgotten. But I don't know if it would be forgotten with Leeds fans, but, you know, football's fickle, isn't it? The other side of the coin is if you keep him out, then Leeds are going to suffer with quality, but you're sending a message.
It's very easy to do the whole refuse to play, you don't come back thing. But if he's going to stay and he's going to build bridges, no PR apology, shut up, get on with it, play, and prove yourself. That's all he can do. That is the only way he will win any one round. Sinistera?
Yeah. So tougher one. Maybe because I just really like Sinistera. I mean, I did not like Nonto, but I don't know, I love watching Sinistera. It's probably my affiliate. I do stick with players who I like, Rocker being a classic example.
Well, Bamford for me. I just can't anytime someone comes at him, I'm like, no, he tries hard. Leave Paddy alone. Leave him alone.
I wondered why you hated my channel. But yeah, mate, I think with him, I think there's maybe something there. I think there's maybe something there in terms of him wanting to leave. And do you know what, Lewis? He's probably looking around and going, what on earth is going on here? And I'm not excusing him whatsoever, but he's probably thinking there's a lack of incomings here. Maybe at the start, I mean, he spoke to, I think it was AS Colombia, and he said he was quoted as saying, like, you know, and it's a lot of bollocks, isn't it, a lot of the time, but I'm looking forward to getting back to Leeds with the projects. I'm paraphrasing and getting them back to where they belong, all this sort of stuff that we've heard Tyler Adams say. But you almost thought yourself earlier on in the window, if Leeds can show some ambition, if we can match, you know, this, he could be, if we had him for a full season, there is a solid argument he will be the best championship player ever that has ever graced that division. So I think Leeds needed to almost match that. And he's probably thought to himself, do you know what? And there's no excuse here whatsoever, but he's probably thought, do you know what? The dominoes are falling here. I need to get out. Do I think it's right? Do I think it's right what he's done? Absolutely not. But we're not clear on it yet, are we, Lou? There is a lot of knee injury stuff again.
It's almost like one jump ship. Everyone else wants to jump ship. Then it's almost like, you know, all in or all out pretty much. And as soon as one left, it's like another leaves and another leaves. Oh, I can go on loan. Oh, nice one. You've gone on loan. All right, I'll go on loan. Oh, you're refusing to play. All right, I'll refuse to play. And it's like a domino effect of, look at Leicester, for example. Now I know they've lost Barnes, but Vardy, for example, and then a few others have essentially gone, look, let's band together.
Yeah.
For a season, and let's get them back up, right? Let's just stick it out. We haven't done that, and as you just said, make a very good point of players like Sinistera, players like Adams. You have to show again, and this is the point of the video, from a business standpoint, that you are serious. Before anything on the pitch happens, you have to get it right behind the scenes. Now, getting Farker in, who we'll cover next very quickly, was a statement. He's probably right now just about the only good thing we've got. That's good. But then when you've got deals falling through at the last minute, it comes across as, well, we haven't got the pull. When you've got 2 weeks left of the transfer window, which again, we'll cover just them two things, you've got players going, we've got 6 players we probably need to sign, and we can't see it happening. You've got players on loan, you've got players refusing to play, etc., etc. So, as Sinistera, again, not making excuses for him, you probably go, we're going nowhere.
Why would I stay?
Why would I stay? If you would have proven to me that there's a genuine chance we could just go win the league easily, fine. I'll stay for a season. I'll rip it up. But look at the squad. 2 weeks left of the transfer window today.
Yep.
What do we need? How many players do we need? What positions do we need?
Now, mate, what a question. I mean, they went for a right back, didn't they? They were willing to spend 12 million quid on a right back. So I don't know, maybe presumably they're still looking at a Cody sale. I don't know. So maybe there. Left back, obviously.
Striker, you'd say.
Striker, central attacking midfielder. A defensive midfielder, because you can't stick Archie in there for 46 games.
Totally agree. Yeah,
it's going to kill him. And then this is all if we wanted to go for promotion, Lou. If we wanted to go for promotion, if you've got obviously maybe Nonto leaving, maybe Sinisterra leaving, we've spoken about Somerville, 2 out of the 3 might leave. You've got to look at replacing some of the wingers now, where we're stock heavy.
Yeah.
You're looking at it. So this is what I keep saying, and some people think I'm being dramatic, but this is what I'm saying. Expectation-wise, if we're just going to be mid-table, if we're just going to transition this season, then maybe 4 players, whatever. Still need to bring in players. But if you're wanting to go for promotion, you're going to have to bring in, for me, 7.
Do Ayling, Cooper, Dallas, and Bamford have a part to play in the next chapter? Yes or no?
Am I not allowed to apply any context? Or is it just yes or no?
Yes or no, and then apply context.
Yes, I do think so. I think, I'm happy with Coop sticking about. I'd like him not to play, but in the background, it's fine. Dallas, the exact same. I'm a massive Stuart Dallas fan, but when you're broken your leg and you're 3 years older than you were when you were unbelievable for us, and people think you're going to get back to where you were, I don't think that's personally going to happen. Bamford and Ayling are done. So done. So yeah, there's context to be applied, mate. I'd get rid of 2 of them and keep 2, but it's just not going to happen, is it? But there we go. Yeah, so they do have a part. I guess if we're talking about all 4 of them, I think they do have a player. Yeah. What has happened with Leeds United over the last 18 months is going to stay with Leeds, in my opinion, for the next 3 or 4 years. They've completely held us back with what they've done.
So ramifications, mate. The ramifications of a League One operation in the Premier League. Yeah, and how they ever thought they were going to get away with it, I don't know. I really don't know.
Just give us something. Just give us something, you bastards. Just sign some players. Just do positive. Something. Just give us something. This is coming from I need something. I just need something. Just give me some. I'm sick of seeing my face. I'm sick of seeing me moan all the time. Honestly, even I'm sick of it. You can't believe it. Just give me a signing, something. I can make 3 videos off the back of a new signing.
You're going to bed at night going, fuck that Conor McGilligan guy, man.
Oh, I'm sick of him, mate. Who is he? Just bored of him. God,
yeah, that's that. We've got a lot of mess to clean up, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. Thanks for coming on, Connor. Make sure you all check out the One Leeds fan channel. Of course, West Brom at home on Friday night, 3rd game of the season. Still looking for our first win. Make sure you've got your notifications on for the match day video. I will see you then. Goodbye.